Camp Hope, created by SafeNest in collaboration with the Alliance for Hope International. This escape to the mountains of Utah is a return to normalcy for Southern Nevada children aged 7 to 18 who have experienced the trauma of domestic violence. Surrounded by towering trees and the great outdoors, the kids here at Camp Hope can be kids again and come to understand they are not alone.
Trying to improve the odds.
Camp Hope is just one of the youth programs within the Pathways to Hope strategic initiative provided by SafeNest. And key to the success of all the activities are mentors, civic standouts, business executives, athletes, and neighbors who have persevered through challenges, survived, and found their own pathway to personal success.
What we do is we introduce the young people that are in our Pathways to Hope program, which are 100% kids that have struggled with domestic violence in their lives. And we introduce them to adults who have been through similar experiences as young people that are thriving today.
SafeNest is honored to introduce our 2022 Hope Heroes.
It was traumatic to see your father cuffed and taken away. And he could see it on us too, so that sits with me. I come from a family of domestic violence. My father was physically abusive. My mother too at times to him, but my father was physically abusive and his father was physically abusive. And my father used to always drill in my head, you don't hit girls, you don't hit women all the time. And I remember we were fishing and I just made the comment, I said, then why do you do it? He says, I shouldn't. He says, but you're better than me.
By 12 years old, William Horn was on the edge of falling through the cracks until he met Mrs. Valdez.
We moved back here, so I was running around with the wrong kids out on the west side. I was cussing out teachers. I was stealing lunch money, all the bad things, ditching school. And I had one teacher, Mrs. Valdez. She goes, you're a little hoodlum and everything. She goes, but I'm not going to let you go.
William's 6th grade teacher opened his eyes to a different path in life, a positive path, perspective that helped get William through high school and on to college at UNLV. That's where he met his next mentor, his drill sergeant, who showed William the power of being a leader, a family man, and a person who gives back to their community.
Everyone has worth. I have no idea where I would be if it wasn't for Mrs. Valdez. They'd probably be in prison or dead.
Gail Vandervort was 10 years old when she was first victimized, and the trauma would follow her into adulthood. She met her future husband in Japan while she was on tour as a choreographer and dancer. The cycle of manipulation began, eventually building to control, seclusion, physical threats, and abuse, even while pregnant.
You're so afraid to leave because, you're afraid that they're going to hurt your children, they're going to hurt your family if you go there. You don't do anything about it.
After the birth of her second child, Gail could bear it no more. She found the strength to escape with her kids and start a new life, free of violence and filled with purpose.
Forgive yourself. Give yourself permission to forgive yourself. And once you do that, then you can move forward and know it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. And you can do great things.
Hope is the belief that your future can be better than your past. That's what Pathways to Hope tries to instill in the minds of young participants. These kids have been through more than any person should face in a lifetime. But with hope and personal perspective, they see a happy future is possible.
This creates memories and impressions in our participants' brains of how they can thrive even though their circumstances today are difficult.
I think more of a challenge for me in my childhood was growing up in a rough neighborhood.
Jason Fryerson knows challenges. He was born and raised in Compton, California, known as one of the toughest neighborhoods in the Southland. Jason and his older brother had plenty to worry about.
Stray bullets coming through our home and, a lot of fights in schools, which, I think you've seen a gap. You're starting to see that again now.
For Jason and his young friends, dreams seemed fleeting, even at school.
I remember in particular, I think it was around the second grade, I had a teacher discourage me from wanting to, I believe, go to medical school. And a lot of kids were discouraged and kind of let go of some of those dreams.
Thankfully, Jason found his path out of the neighborhood and toward a future filled with options through sports, student government, and onto law and leadership.
I think my background has given me a unique perspective to be, a zealous advocate in court, but also to have some compassion for people that have challenges that maybe not everybody can relate to.
In fact, Fryerson has served as an assistant public defender, a deputy attorney general for Nevada, Nevada's state assembly speaker, and he's the next Nevada U.S. attorney.
No matter where you are, where you're from, who you are, what you look like, if you stay focused and driven, you can accomplish anything.
Anything is possible with the right guidance and support. That's the strength of coaching boys into men and athletes as leaders, both Pathways to Hope programs, now provided at high schools around the valley, with coaches helping keep students headed in the right direction in life.
Right there, 2 yard.
Mentoring that resonates long after the athletes have left the field. That's the goal. As a child, Myra Chavez didn't have a real mentor. She was always to blame. That's how she felt. When she became pregnant as a teenager, she was forced out of her home. She moved in with her baby's father, but the trouble began almost immediately.
It quickly became very unsafe.
The baby's father dealt with various issues, including substance abuse, which soon led to violence.
It was the moment when I was holding my infant child when he struck me.
That was Myra's breaking point. No more excuses for the cuts and bruises. Myra left. She knew she had to improve her life, and education was the answer.
You have to hear the voice inside of you and start taking action.
Myra succeeded. She's on her way to a master's degree in social work and volunteers for SafeNest. She helps clients find the assistance they need, lessons learned from her own nightmare.
So our past, even if it's dark, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because we can really learn from it and come out stronger than before.
The people who I was living with were addicted to gambling and addicted to alcohol and addicted to drugs and addicted to violence and generations of sexual violence.
Amy Eveluna remembers violence from a young age, and it would take a toll for many years. Amy got pregnant at 17 and had 2 more children with her first abusive partner until she escaped. Tragically, her second relationship was no better.
All those years, I believed I was in a locked cell. I believed that I was in a room with walls and a ceiling, and there was no door and there was no windows.
But today, she has hope and direction. Amy continues her journey with the help of mentors, her boss, and leaders of various organizations who have helped her family. In return, Amy helps other victims get the resources they need to start a new life.
Little by little, we start picking ourselves up, and time heals all wounds.
And SafeNest can help. The goal of Pathways to Hope is to enable young victims to see the amazing possibilities in life, filled with hope, a positive future, and purpose, with the help of people who have lived it, to inspire kids and make them realize they matter.
And it is those little nuggets of information that kids take away. You never know what's going to inspire a child in a time when they're navigating something difficult. So we try to provide as much of that as possible.
To the 2022 Hope Heroes recipients, we say thank you for your stories, your strength, and your dedication to others. Together, we prevent violence, protect victims, and empower survivors.